This picture is normal feline bone marrow. I actually pulled it from your laboratory class because I took these pictures a long time ago and I think I gave them to the school. So this is normal feline bone marrow. What do we want you to know about it? We want to try to pare this down to a pretty simple process. Bone marrow, we want you to know the difference between myeloid cells and erythroid cells. And we want you to be able to tell us if it is cellular or hypocellular, hypercellular. So this is normal, and the cells that we can recognize immediately are the red blood cells in the background. So there are a few red blood cells, but not too much. And then this is a regular segmented neutrophil. So you guys all know what those are. And you also know what the metarubricites look like from the nucleated red blood cells that you were introduced to last semester. So these are kind of early ones, but here's a late one right here, and here's a late one. So if this is a regular polychromatophilic red blood cell, and this is the cell right, or the stage right before it. So that's red. So I want to get used to using erythroid and myeloid. So I'm going to quickly go through this and just call the cells as myeloid or erythroid. This is indented, so this is myeloid, myeloid. We know for sure these are myeloid, so let's use those as our classic examples of this pale cytoplasm and pale nucleus. So myeloid, 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 erythroid, erythroid, probable myeloid, erythroid, erythroid, probable erythroid, myeloid, myeloid, erythroid, erythroid, myeloid, a precursor eosinophil. This is erythroid. This is an early red blood cell. Aren't those cool? Those are way bigger than these metarubricites, so they're probably going to be in the rubrocyte stage or something like this. This is probably a rubroblast because it has a nucleoli in there, but I'm getting a little fancy here, so let's not do that. So myeloid, myeloid, erythroid, erythroid, myeloid, erythroid, myeloid, erythroid. Can you see a pattern here? The dark, very dark, dense, round cells are all going to be erythroid. And these lacier, lighter colored, indented nucleus cells are all going to be myeloid. And if you had your tally and you were counting these, you'd probably have a pretty normal 50-50 myeloid to erythroid ME ratio at the end of it. This is the picture I put on the front page this week, and they tell us, I got this off Google Images, they tell us that this is an erythroid hypoplasia, so we don't have the numbers of erythroids like we did that normal one, do we? So that makes sense. And it also tells us a myeloid hyperplasia, so there's a lot of whites and they're very young. So those are two words you do need to know this week. I sent you some terminology, so that should help. So when we're doing this one, we can see that these erythroid cells are all pretty mature. These might be erythroid in here, and maybe this one. This one's a little harder to read than the last one. So we want to go in here. We know that this is going to be myeloid. It's indented, so that makes it easy. So myeloid, 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 myeloid seg, right? Probably myeloid, can't read it very well. Erythroid, erythroid, erythroid. Probable erythroid, erythroid, myeloid, 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 maybe erythroid. It's probably an early eosinophil, so myeloid, 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 myeloid. These are all myeloid. They're pretty young. A lot of them look like they have granules in them, and all these guys are whites too. So this does look like more of a myeloid hyperplasia, and it is abnormal. So I wanted you to see both.